Hey everybody, this is Games Plus James and welcome back to this tutorial series all about animating a 2D character in Unity. So last time out we set up our character in his little skeleton layout, so all his bits and pieces are interconnected, and now we're going to animate just a couple of basic animations of just the character kind of just standing there and a simple little walking animation. Okay, so I've set up the guy in a more kind of standing position, and what we want to do first is grab our player and we want to move him down so he's touching the ground, so that we have a point of reference, so that when we make a walk animation, for example, that he'll be able to we'll know where his feet are touching the ground at all times, rather than just having him floating in space and not really knowing where anything is. You could also, of course, not use the ground. You could use one of these lines in the background here or anything like that, just something as long as you have a straight line. So we're just going to give him a pretty basic little idle animation. So we're going to open a window of animation here, pop that down there like that, and I'm going to add a new folder here. We'll call this folder animations, just for easiness sake. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to our player and we're going to create an animation. So we go here, create animations folder, and we'll save this as just I suppose we call it just the idle. Nope, that's not how you spell idle. Oh god. Let's go here. Nope, that's still not how you spell idle. Oh my god, apparently my fingers don't want to type things today. Okay, so for his basic idle animation, he'll start off in this position here, and it'll say it's the way this is working at the moment. We've got 60 frames per second it runs at, and at 60 frames here, so that's 1 second gone by. So we'll say roughly halfway, we'll say this will just be a 1 second looping animation of an idle movement. So what we're going to do is we have our record button checked, so that any changes we make will occur, or they'll automatically be brought onto the timeline here. And if we go to the halfway point here, if we move the player, say if we move him up here like this, it'll, at the first point, it'll remember where it was, and then at the new point that we're at, it'll move to there. So you can see already it'll create a little animation of it moving up like that. But what we want actually for our character idling and kind of just standing there is he just kind of bobs up and down slightly. So what we'll do here is, rather than pull him up like that, we'll pull him just, so he was on the ground here, and we'll just pull him down ever so slightly. Just, well, that's probably even a little bit too much. Just a little bit, round about there. Just so we'll have a simple little animation going. And obviously his feet now are poking through the ground, so that's no good to us. So now what we're going to do is move his legs slightly. So we'll just pull this leg up like this. His lower leg, we'll just bend it a little bit backwards, and his left foot like that. So you can see we've done a fair bit of bending there, and he's still down too low. So we'll actually just move him up a tiny little bit, because we don't want him moving too much. So now if we just go back, you see there's just a tiny little bit of moving up and down on him like that. Okay, so we'll do the exact same thing with his right leg now. We'll switch to rotations, pull that like that, move his lower leg back, and then his right foot, turn it around so it's flat on the ground, just like that. So you can see he's moving, he just moves ever so slightly down, but his legs stay actually in ground, in position, just like we want him to. And then his arms, we're going to have a little bit of movement on his arms. So his right arm here, we pull that back a tiny little bit, and the lower part of his arm up just a tiny little bit as well. And then the same with his left arm, we'll, instead of going back, we'll pull it forward a little bit, and we just pull this up a tiny bit as well. Just a little bit, there we go. Oh, that's not good. Just a tiny bit up. There we go. Okay. So now you can see, what's going on with his left arm there? I think it moves a little bit, or his right arm lower. Moved a little bit too much. So So we want his arm to stay down there. I don't know why his arm is moving crazy like that. I think it's just I moved it a little bit too much before I let go. There we go, that's a bit better. So now we have the animation going from the start to the middle, and we want because we want it to be a looping animation, we want it to go back to the exact same position that it was in beforehand. So how we can do that is if we click on the top little diamond here, and what all these little diamonds are basically is like that's storing a position within the animation. So as you can see, if you scroll down here, it's storing position and rotation of every single object in the animation. So what we want to do is we click on the top one, and that selects all of them at once. And then if we copy these, so we can't right click, but if we just Control and C to copy them, and then we go to the 1 second mark here and press Control and V to paste it. Just seems to take a second. There we go. And now if we just hit this little play button here, just click off him so we can see him. So now you can see he's just kind of slowly bobbing up and down within the game. Obviously, that's a very basic, rough animation. You'd probably want to spend a little bit more time than 4 minutes on your animations. But this is just to get the basics of it going. So there we go. We've got a simple little idle animation working for him. So now if we go back to here and we turn off the record button, say if we were at this point of it, if we had the record button off, you can see he moves between the position we started off with and the position that we're at in the animation. Just something I noticed when I finished the video here, and I just came back and pointed this out to myself. What we did here was slightly wrong. What we animated for our idle animation, the guy moving up and down, what we moved was the player rather than the body. And the problem with moving the player is this is just relative within the whole world. So if we have our player character here and this is moving up and down, it'll never move position. It'll always stay here in this exact position in the whole wide world. What we want, and like, so our player, the top player object is what's being controlled and moved around as you're playing the game. So what we actually want to do is move our body up slightly. So I'm just going to go back here. I just want to remove this player bit of the keyframes. So we're going to grab all those players all the way across there and just delete them like that, and then we're going to grab our body and we're going to go to the midpoint and move that down just like the player body was moving before. So now we have that going on, and we're going to copy this again and paste it at the end here. Nope, paste it here. There we go, just like that. So now we have him moving up and down, although that could stand to move a tiny bit more. So let's just move that down ever so slightly. There we go. Now we've got him bobbing up and down just like he should be. So perfect. So yes, remember, move the body and not the player. So what we're going to do now is create a new animation. So we'll go create a new clip, and we'll call this run. And this is going to be our character moving along. So like we had last time, we started off the character in his normal standing position, and then he kind of bobbed and weaved a bit, and we jumped straight to the middle point to do things. With our run animation, we want to run, because again it's going to be a running loop. We want him to start off in the middle of his run, because he's not going to run, take a step, and then go back to the position that he's in now. He's going to keep looping through his walking and running animation. So with this first bit, what we're going to do is we want to make sure that's ticked on, and we'll move back to the start of the animation, and we're going to move his body into position for running. So we'll pull this leg up like this, pull that down like that, and then his foot there, say, and then his right leg, we're going to pull it back to there. Oh no. Leg, pull it back to about there, pull that a little bit straighter, and then his foot forward. As you can see, because his body's moving differently because he's running, he's now not touching the ground. So what we're going to do is grab the whole body here and pull it down just ever so slightly, just like that. And now we've got our legs in position nicely. And what we're going to do is the exact same thing. We're going to make it a 1 second animation again. So we're going to have this starting position, and we're going to make this at the end as well. But in between, we're going to have the legs the opposite way around. So at the moment, his left leg is up and his right leg is back and straight. So we're going to do the opposite at the 30 frame point. So we're going to go left leg upper. We're going to grab this guy and pull him back like that. We're going to line this up roughly with the other leg. So we're going to pull that one there like that. And then his foot will be there. Perfect. And then on the right leg, we're going to pull this one forward. Just about to there, say. Pull his right leg back like that. Actually, we pull the right leg up a bit more. So, just up to there. No, a little bit more than that even. There we go. And pull his right foot forward. So now should have a bit of a walking animation. Obviously, it doesn't look 100% right just yet. But now that we've got that going, we'll just copy this to the 1 second mark like this. Paste it in over here. Let it load for a second. There we go. And if we just click off him, now we're going to run through this. And obviously it doesn't look quite right. His legs are just switching back and forward. So an easy and straightforward way to kind of fix this within the player's animation, just to make it look a tiny bit better, is to go roughly halfway between, and basically the leg that's now swinging forward. So at this moment in time, our right leg is swinging forward. But the way your legs work, they don't kind of swing and kick the ground again as you're going forward. You keep your leg as your leg is moving forward, you keep it up in the air. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to grab the lower part of the right leg and just do this. So it's staying up in the air like that. And we'll do the exact same thing at roughly in between again. So at 45, and this time we're going to do it to the left leg. We're going to pull it up just like that, just to roughly there, and we'll move the foot as well. Oh, his leg. Unfortunately, something weird happened. I think I broke his leg slightly. There we go, fix that. We'll pull that back up again. Just up to there. And then grab his foot. And now, if we click off him again and run through this animation, there we go. It looks more like an actual walking animation going on there now. And obviously, if you would want to spend more time on this animation to make sure that as his feet touch the ground, you can see with his left leg, it kind of looks like it is kind of staying on the ground there, but the right leg is going through the ground at various different points. So what you want to do is go through at different frames. So say, where is it happening? I'll just stop this for a second. Say, as you can see here, the right foot is it's going through the ground here. You'd probably want to tidy that up and make sure it's not passing through the ground at different points. It would just take more time spent on it, and any animation is going to be better the more time you spend on it. But we don't have time to cover all that. That's just a matter of fine-tuning it. But we don't just want his legs moving like this, because he'll look a bit weird if only his legs are moving as he's moving around. We want to get his arms going too. So we're going to animate his arm movement. We're going to go back to the first frame here again, and we're going to start with his right arm. So basically your arms move opposite to the way your legs are. So right now his right leg is backwards, so therefore his right arm should be swinging forwards. So just like this, we'll swing his arm up like that to roughly there, and then grab his lower arm up just like that. Perfect. And then we'll do the exact same thing with his left arm. So his left leg is forward, so his left arm should be back just like this. And we'll just pull this left arm a little bit forward like that. Nope, that's probably too far. Just round about there. Again, it's just about kind of fine-tuning and seeing where it all works for your character. So Obviously this is just a starting position now, so his arms are just kind of frozen there. They don't know where to move yet. So again, we'll go to the midpoint, and at this point his right leg is now forward and his left leg is back, so we have to swing the arms around to reflect that. So now our left arm will be going forward to get it. It's hard to, sometimes it moves a bit awkwardly. No, see, now it's gone back to where it was. No. There we go. That looks roughly about right now. Okay, and again we'll move his lower arm up a little bit. And with his right arm, look, see, his left arm's gone all wonky. That's not what we wanted. Just stay there like that. His right arm, we're going to move that back to round about there, and move his lower arm, we'll pull it back out a little bit. Oh, no, that's not good. If we can just move it over enough to, yeah, there we go, that'll do. Okay, now, so what we want to do is, again, we want to copy the first frame of animation, make sure everything is being pasted over to the last one, so that the arms are going to the right place. Because as you can see at the moment, they're stuck in the second position that we moved them up to. So we want to make sure that they go back to their original position. I'm going to copy them. I don't know why that didn't. Did a strange thing there for a second. Why is it doing that now? That's not good. Okay. Doesn't seem to be wanting to be helpful for me. Oh, and we can see actually, if we, yeah, this is an important part of it also. Going through your animations to make sure that weird things aren't happening. As you can see with the left arm, for some reason he's going crazy around like that. So that's not really what we want to happen. So what we're going to do is on our left arm upper, which is the part that's what's going wrong, I'm just going to delete this keyframe here. So now it's gone. And now it's still back in the position it was. So now what we're going to do is go back here. The lower part of the right arm is a bit willy-nilly as well, so we're going to fix that too. But now on our left arm upper, we're going to rotate that forward if it'll move for us. There we go. If we go back through, see, now we can see his run a bit better and more sensible. On our right arm lower, there we go. So our right arm lower is this frame here, so we're going to delete that one again, and you can see we've got that there, and all we want to do is move it back ever so slightly. I think it was because the program was moving, was being a bit delayed for me, so it was actually going around in a whole entire circle rather than moving just a tiny bit. So there we go. Now we've got a nice little smooth little animation going on there, and I'm not really sure what's going on with this, and I don't know why it's not letting me copy. So what I'm just going to do, rather than copying them all, what I'm going to do is, so say I can see here there's certain gaps where the arm rotation hasn't been copied over, so we're just going to click that particular one, go over here and paste. Again, click this particular one, go over here and paste. Pick the two of these, paste them in there, and then pick the two of these and paste these guys in there. And there you go. So now if we just click off so we can see him properly and we hit play, he's got a pretty simple little run animation going on, which does the exact job that we want it to do. It's like I said before, it's very simple and very straightforward. You could definitely spend a little bit more time on it. His body is not exactly moving up and down or anything. So say if we got to this point here, what's going on? Say we're walking. Pushing there and letting go. So say at this point maybe your body would be slightly up in the air. So we'll move him up. I don't know if this makes sense actually, but yeah, that actually does. No, that doesn't make sense. So we got his body staying on the ground there. What we want to do is say at this point we'll move his body up slightly here. So now he's up, and then here he'll be back down again. So there we go, he's gone up and down because he's got two legs, so he should be going up and down twice. There you go. See, a little bit more sensible. And it's things like that. You just kind of have to work out and think, how does a person move, essentially, to just keep refining it and keep tuning it so it looks better and better as you keep doing it. But there you go. That's the basics of how to animate. Just a simple little walk animation and a simple little idle, standing still animation. And that's going to be it for this episode. But next time, we're going to show how to go between those animations in Unity. Because one of the really good things about Unity is when you're doing animation like this, as opposed to sprite-based animations, but with animations like this, you can make it move between those two things really, really nicely. So say with our idle animation here, he's just standing here, bouncing up and down. But if we switch to our run animation, he's immediately going straight into running, which looks a bit weird. So like you're going from, actually just to run here, you're going from just standing here like this to next frame exactly just being bam, my arm is suddenly forward and I'm in position. But one of the really nice things about Unity is rather than it doing that, it will work out for you exactly how the arm should go from here to swinging forward to the first position of run. And the legs will go up in the air and stuff like that. It's really handy, very straightforward, and we're going to take a look at that next time here in the Unity 2D tutorial. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll be back soon with more tutorial goodness. Thanks for checking out this episode, and if you want even more Games Plus James goodness, make sure you hit those subscribe and like buttons. You can also find me on Twitter and Facebook by following the links on screen, where you can find out all the latest news about the channel. And if you want to help support the show, check out the Patreon page where you can get exclusive content in return for helping make the channel even better. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.